events like today are really important for a number of reasons. One, for showcasing Sheffield as a core city and then the region more widely and all its potential. But equally, I think allowing people to see and meet with, potential investors, to have the opportunity for them to hear the stories of Sheffield. I think it's incredibly important. I think in the north we get overlooked quite a lot. We're kind of a second thought often. I can't remember the last time that we had a load of people from London come up to have an event like this, and I've been in and around Sheffield for 20 years. So I commend the organisers and everybody that's put it on today to make sure that it's happened, because I know they've turned it around in a tight time scale. So I really welcome it. I think it's really important. I mean, I'm born and bred in Sheffield, so I'm definitely biased. And sometimes I work for Sheffield Chamber, and I sometimes think I should work for like some tourist agency, because I'm just such a huge advocate for the region. Because Sheffield is such a unique city. A third of it's in the Peak District. We've got so many rich assets and such a wide variety of industries, which actually, if you're thinking as an investor, stands you in good stead, because we're not over-reliant on any one sector. So it's quite a resilient, agile city, and we saw that in the financial crisis in 2008 and then during COVID. And you're absolutely right, people here are really well connected. It's the biggest village, to say it's the 5th biggest city in the UK is such a village, and so the collaboration that we saw during the pandemic across public, private and third sector was exceptional. Everybody came together for the greater good of the city. So I think that's quite unique to Sheffield actually. There's a real common purpose and a real kind of core spirit about the people here. It's talking about sort of as a northern powerhouse and the opportunity of the north as a whole. You need strong core cities, don't you, and then the region benefits. So, I represent Sheffield Chamber of Commerce. We work with our colleagues in Barnsley and Rotherham Chamber of Commerce and Doncaster Chamber of Commerce. And in the last 18 months, we've probably collaborated more than in the last decade, partly because we've had a change in leadership, and partly because of the pandemic's meant that we've wanted to and we've needed to. But I think, the more the North can kind of join as a voice and as a region, and part of that comes back to connectivity. We're really well positioned right in the centre of the country, but our transport links between Leeds and Manchester are still pretty poor, really, compared to the rest of the UK. So, that's in order for us to truly connect up and have more of one voice, then there's a lot of potential there, isn't there, if we come together as a strong sort of broad cross-section of strong northern cities. What's been a big game changer actually is that previous to the pandemic, people lived where they worked. And I think people have really recognised the value of work-life balance and living in a beautiful part of the world and having like that countryside on your doorstep. So the number of people we've seen move up here because they can work remote or they only need to be in the office a day a week. And obviously they can take advantage of like the third of Sheffield being in the Peak District. But it's all of South Yorkshire. You throw a stone and you're in amazing countryside. I know sort of our within Sheffield's boundaries, there's 800 green spaces, 800. 250 parks. I mean, there's no other city that can say that. We are the greenest city in Europe, and that's quite an accolade. And I think in terms of well-being, mental health, all of that, we've got it in spades here. There are more cooperatives and social enterprises here in South Yorkshire than anywhere else, doing good and making money. And I think I'd like people to think about business is not all just for a corporate gain and shareholders, that there are a huge amount of businesses here that are extremely purposeful and have social value at the core. And I'd like to see that more represented, I think, throughout the sessions today. And then I think for people to take away is the huge amount of potential that this region has got, untapped potential. Because, as I say, we're a city of makers and creators and artisans, and we make world-class stuff. But we're so humble here, we don't shout about it, we don't talk about it. So, if I was to take you of a tour around the city, Sheffield's got the largest theatre group outside of London, all our sporting heritage, our music heritage, but, there are things around the world that are made in Sheffield that you wouldn't know. So I think there's some real world-class businesses here already, and I know the story, and it's true that the North and South Yorkshire in particular has been extremely underinvested, and our local authorities have had their budgets cut year on year on year for around a decade now, so they've found that really tough. But despite that, there are so many businesses that have thrived and done exceptionally well even in those circumstances. So there's a huge amount of resilience for the people here and the businesses here. So I think with additional support and investment, wow, we could really fly.